Hi, everybody. Just having a conversation recently with a good friend of mine. He and I talked some pretty high level stuff on the spiritual end in life and all that stuff. And I was telling him a little story about how I kind of learned to surrender situations. And when you surrender situations, usually something really good comes along instead of what you were looking for. It can get better. So what happened is this year, because of the virus, I'm not going to be traveling around like I normally do. So my wife and I chose to put the RV in a campground down the shore and stay in one place. So basically it's a permanent campsite for the season, which is unusual for us. But there's only a couple of good sites available. There's a river along this campground and there's a stream behind it. And so the manager knew us. We stayed there a couple of years before to try it out. And she said, I only have a couple of good sites left. All the rest are interior. I know you don't want an interior. You got to choose. And she pushed me a little bit to make a decision. And my wife doesn't like to get pushed. So as simple as that is, decision wasn't happening. And you know how that is. One person wants to decide, the other doesn't. So you just kind of roll with them like, oh, well, whatever. So got a couple of weeks went by, and I said to my wife, I said, look, we're bored to death. Why don't we see if we can go check these sites out? Because they'll be opening soon, and see if we like them. And she agreed. So I called the manager on the phone, put her on speakerphone, and she says, oh, I'm sorry, the sites you're looking at are all gone. She says, I have a couple others. They're a quiet area. They're bigger sites. You may like them. So, and she says, sure, you can come down. Make sure you have your mask, all that fun stuff. So we drive the 2 hours down there and go and look at the sites, and they were okay. And then she says to us, she says, well, I have a couple others that just may turn up. So she showed us one where somebody just pulled out and still had a big deck on it, and we could have modified the deck. And then she showed us another one. She says, this guy, she had said his name, and she says, he may not come back. He's contemplating because he's in a nursing home, and this is his site. So I didn't really want that site because I would rather see the guy come back and enjoy it because he's been there for like 18 years. And then she showed us another site. She said, this site, I have a deposit on, but full payment's due in 5 days. And they're not even reaching back to me. She says, I haven't heard a thing. I said, well, maybe they don't have money. So, and standing on that site, that was the site we wanted. My wife agreed, that's where we want. We can see the river up one end, we can see the river down the other end. There's only one row of trailers in front of us. So that was where it was going to be. And I like this place because I could put a boat in the water there also. So it just surrendered. Okay. Just said to Spirit, give us what's best for us. And told her our preferences and let it go. Well, she called me 2 days later and said, guess what? They pulled out. Your number one choice is what you're getting. And, as I'm telling this story to Pete, that we got what we wanted, and it was a matter of, a little bit of navigating, and we got even better than what we originally were going to choose. We both got, I said, life is kind of like a carousel. He says, that's funny. I just saw a carousel. I said, yeah, I saw a carousel in my vision also. And I'm driving at the same time, so I have to be careful. So life is like a carousel, and if it's going around and round, because the wheel of 84, life just keeps on going around, and it goes in circles, and we keep on repeating things until we get them right, and until we learn what we need to learn. So, but we'll get into the wheel of 84 at a different time. But think of it as a carousel. So you may focus on a horse, and every now and then you'll see that horse go by. And you may try to jump on to get to that horse, but maybe somebody's on that horse, and maybe someone's blocking your way. Or maybe for some reason, it's not the best one for you. If you change your focus and just kind of surrender, say, all right, I just want to go for the ride, and I will get on the best one possible for me. And you jump on, and maybe it's a bigger horse. Maybe it's a better horse. Maybe it's a stronger horse. Maybe it's a pretty horse. All right. So maybe you didn't get what you specifically wanted at first, but the next one was better. And the same thing with getting off. Okay. You can't just randomly jump. You got to pay attention to where you're going, and you got to step off, because you may step where you shouldn't. You'll step in a puddle. You'll step in, the mud or the sand or wherever you don't want to step, or maybe there's somebody there. So you got to have a little faith that when you're getting on and off and you're doing things in life, you have to trust that the right thing is going to come your way. And the more and more you trust that Spirit gives you the right thing for you at that time, the better things will get and the easier it is to navigate. Because then you'll have an inner knowing that even though there's a problem right in front of you, and it could be a minuscule problem or it could be a big problem, but it can get worked out, because if you demand it to go a certain way, maybe that's not the best way for you. Maybe that there's a better plan for you. And if you just kind of release and navigate differently, it'll work out for the best. Thanks, take care, and look for my upcoming webinar series, because we're going to be going over a lot of interesting things about people's personalities, how people think, why people do what they do, how it relates to spiritual levels. We'll talk about spiritual planes. We'll talk about dreams. We'll get into some pretty heavy stuff. So that's coming up in the next week or so. So look for it. I'm going to post it. That's not going to be a video like this. That's going to be more of, you have to log in to see it, because I just don't want it randomly played everywhere. People have to just show a little bit of accountability that they're watching it and joining it, but you'll get educated with a lot of different things. Thanks, and take care. Bye.